excited to have great friend, pastor, buddy, who we have known each other for 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
So what is your role as a dad in all of that?
Just come home. I'm just kidding.
This community is exploding.
It is.
And it's the most beautiful community I've ever seen.
You're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So there's probably something important that you say.
This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
All right, welcome back to Unleash Your Purpose podcast with your host, Ryan Centers. I'm excited to have great friend, pastor, buddy, who we have known each other for 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate you having me, man. I'm really excited about this.
I was thinking, so you have 6 kids, right?
Five
kids. I'm sorry.
It feels like 20, but yes, I have 5 kids.
And one of the kids has played on my football team and took us to the championship.
Yes.
It was definitely the coaching.
Yes, for sure, the coaching. At that age group, yeah, we're going to say it's the coaching.
Yeah, exactly. Not my star athlete son.
Always had a lot of fun, though.
I was thinking back to a couple of years ago. We celebrated 4th of July together.
Yep.
And we had a bunch of families. And I'm always known as the guy who brings all the fireworks. So there's never a shortage of fireworks when the centers are around.
Yep.
So I bring my bulk stash. But what I didn't happen to realize is that I had some old ones in there from Mexico that I brought back over.
It definitely showed. We almost burned the neighborhood down,
yes,
if we're being honest.
Yes, we did. Those things were going exploding. One of our friends had to dive over to save a kid. Yeah.
The kids still to this day, though, they never forget that one.
That's right.
I'll be honest.
Because the scar of the burn on their head.
Yes. That was a lot of fun.
I don't want them to...
We had to move cars.
Exactly. I don't want them to take their freedom for granted.
Yes,
that's right. They did not. And I've invited you every year afterwards, and you're always busy.
Yeah, I am always busy. Yes. We're trying to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
We're yeah. No, we're going to come next year.
Okay.
Next year.
Deal. I'm going to make sure I got the 3-year-old
now
ones
you have me on video
bed.
saying it. I got to come now I have to come next year.
Yes.
Okay.
I love going to your house. Not only do you love the Lord, you guys, I love when watching your kids, you guys all pray together, but then I watch and I go upstairs and they're all having like WrestleMania upstairs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
we tried to get padded walls, but it didn't work out too well to hide the holes and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, we every time we have people over, this is kind of like a joke. I don't know if I said this when you were there, but we keep the bottom part of our house very clean.
Yes.
As you saw when you came over, right?
Nice.
Super clean.
Like, wow.
Now, what you didn't know is upstairs, we don't clean it. So when people come over and they bring their kids and it's a mess, we can kind of, hey, man, look what your kids did.
You guys better clean up
They
before
better
you
clean
leave.
up before you leave. But it was already like that. So, yeah. But kids, we always enjoy having people over. Yes, it's WrestleMania in our house. 4 boys.
Yes.
12 all the way down to 4. Got the 2-year-old girl. So WrestleMania is just part of our family.
Yes. Does she does she like cheer him on or is she get in
she's
there?
Actually in there, believe it or not. 2 years old. You would think she'd be scared, but
like take her.
She's the youngest of 4 brothers. She's going to be in there every time. Exactly. So I actually like it.
Yes.
My wife hates it, but I love it.
Oh yeah.
Now when she gets older, she'll be fine. She'll know how to defend herself. So it'll be good. Yeah.
So we knew each other because you were a pastor at the church I attended, got involved in the sports ministry. You were the sports pastor. You taught me how to coach.
Yeah.
I remember you doing all your tutorials and you're like, hey, everyone knows what you're doing, right? And everyone's like, I'm like,
yeah. You were kind of voluntold, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
I saw you and said, that's a coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you coached or not, but I saw you and said, no, I'm going to get him to coach.
Yeah,
so you were kind of voluntold. I appreciate you stepping up.
Oh,
that just shows you you're a godly man, right? That's all that shows, right?
Absolutely. You weren't always in ministry, though.
I wasn't. So I was a teacher for 5 years.
Okay.
I was over at Independence High School for a while there. I was a PE teacher.
Makes sense.
I really enjoyed it. Loved kids. The calling to go into ministry took a little bit, from being transparent, but took a few people to kind of pour into me and give me that confidence, because you always think, am I truly qualified to be a pastor? And we know that's not the right mindset to have, but that's the mindset that I had at the time. And yeah, I had some great mentors, some great people to kind of pushed me to do that and realized that I was equipped. God equipped me to do it. So yeah, top 5 years, moved into ministry shortly after, was a Stars pastor.
Okay.
And the reason why I got into ministry, I always tell people this, I wanted to lead other men, just like I was led. We there's a statistic out there that when the wife or the mom goes to church for the first time without dad, 17% of the family follows. When the man does it, it shoots up to 93%. So not to say the man or woman is better, but we just know that God has instilled in us as men to lead the family. So with that happening to me, that's why I got into ministry, so I can go and talk to men and help them do the exact same thing. So
that's great. So it's been, when you were saying like you felt called into ministry, what does that mean? Because that for a lot of people, that seems very mystic, not really, doesn't make sense. Like
for sure.
How what for you, like you're in full-time vocational work, meaning like, okay, you're working, you're a teacher, loving life.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, I need to do this Audible. And was it like a refining of your kind of your purpose, your vision for your life? How did you get clarity? Like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I always tell people this. When things kind of seem to work out perfectly, I feel like that's literally a calling from God. And it literally happened that way. I was like, no, I don't think I should do it. I'm going to teach. I'm going to do this. And I would have a colleague call me up like, hey, I heard you're going into ministry. So many people were kind of giving me that push and that answer of, hey, God, they didn't say God told them, but they were just telling me. And I know in my head after praying, hey, God, make it very, very clear that this is what I'm supposed to do. And he made it super crystal clear by how many people were reaching out and telling me and saying, hey, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I think you should take that job as a pastor. So that was the clarity and the calling, in my opinion.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, when they think of calling or this purpose in their life, they think it's like, oh, they got to hear an audible voice, but it's not like that. And most of that, people probably saw that you love people, that you love the Lord.
Correct.
That this is something that you're gifted at.
Correct.
And they're continuing to just speak into that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's the people around you that can help speak into that purpose, that vision that you have for your life and what God has for you.
Correct. Yep.
So now, I mean, you've had multiple roles in the church. Now you're leading a campus.
I am. They trusted me.
You have staff. I know.
I do have staff now. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I give you a quick run through. So I was Stars pastor for 5 years, moved into a kids ministry role.
Okay.
Over in our Verado campus. And then just recently, the last 2 years, I've been over in Levine. And that was another clear calling to go there. So my family lives there. I grew up in Levine. It was very clear. I had friends like you encourage, once again, friends call it, encourage me to do it.
I said, you better get down to Levine.
Yes. So that was another clear thing of, hey, I need to go lead over here. And I had the trust of our church to do it too. So that was another positive.
That's so good.
So yeah, it's been great.
So how has your kind of your leadership style evolved through this?
Yeah.
So how would you define yourself now? Because you have a bunch of staff and a bunch of probably 100 volunteers or more.
Yeah. About 200-300. Yes. It grew really fast.
Yes.
So God's been faithful. We've been growing like crazy. As a leader, I think the hardest part as a leader, and I always say this, it's hard to remember that not everyone thinks the way you do. So that's probably the toughest part about being a leader and leading a team is you have this preconceived notion that, oh, I need to do this or they should think like me.
Yeah.
But they don't. And we know in scripture it says we all make a part of the body of Christ. And I had to realize that it's not just me, it's my team.
Yeah.
And as a team, we are going to grow this campus and we're going to perfect it and do it with excellence. And that's what we've been doing. But it's been a learning process for the last 2 years to realize that. Got to remind myself.
So for you, it's having to continue to kind of share the DNA of the culture of what it's about.
Cast and vision. Yep. Yeah. And know your blind spots. We always talk about that at CCV. Like, what are your blind spots? What are the things you don't see that you need to be mindful of? And that's one of them.
For sure. I know for me in my organization, like one of my biggest blind spots is I am not, I'm highly visionary. I love to kind of create ideas, but following through to execution and making it happen. And it's just like, this is boring.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, I'm sitting in our executive office area and I have all the execs sitting in an office in a meeting. I was like, they don't need me there. They're like, no, Ryan, we don't want you in there.
No, exactly.
They're going to get you distracted.
It's trusting your team. Yes. So
and
true.
that's like a good place to be as a leader, is that they're able to kind of step into that. And I can kind of not be involved in all of those things because, one, they know my blind spots. They know the culture and the DNA.
Yep.
And then even earlier today, this one lady, she resigned because she said she did not like all of the camps and events that we do for the kids.
Okay.
And that we're so into personal growth and development. I was like, that's who we are. I'm like, I'm glad you figured it out because because this ain't gonna work.
And that's the reality of not everyone can be on your team, right?
Yeah.
That's the reality of not everyone. You can't work with everybody. Some people are either going to follow your leadership or not. I'm more of a quit yap and make it happen type of dude.
Okay.
Like, get it done.
Yes.
But I, just like you, I had to find people that were strong and where I was weak. And now that we are together, it's like a super healthy, strong team. So it takes time to do that too, though.
So if you're an action guy,
like
your love language is action.
I am the galvanizer. I'm thinking of like working genius, right?
Yeah.
Get
what is yours?
done.
Is your galvanizing?
Galvanizing, yes.
Okay.
Like, go.
Mine's the innovation.
Okay.
And
yeah,
wonder.
like a wonder.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It makes sense. So yeah, I'm more of go get it. Get her done.
Okay.
So I have
what
other
would be
people
your
like to.
What's your biggest blind spot?
So my biggest blind spot is what was it? Enabling.
Okay.
So that bothers me. Like I have a lot of people on my team where they have to hear good job, which is I realize that now, but that's not my first
instinct.
Like
I don't need but do you like to be affirmed too?
No, I can just go get her.
Yeah. You're your bent is just to make it happen.
Just go do it. Yeah.
But leaders, they need to be told.
Correct.
My assistant to this day I'm getting better at it, but they love, like, all of my staff, just like it fuels their heart and soul when I can tell them something good.
Correct.
So even to this day, every single morning when I'm working out, I have in my routine that I have to text one or two staff, and it has to be very specific, something very focused that they're doing well.
I love that.
Because it's like gold and it speaks so loudly. Yeah. Because for so long they were saying, like, does Ryan even like me?
Correct.
Does Ryan even
And that's that's another one of my blind spots, am I being a good coach?
Yeah.
And the meaning behind that is, if you look at any big time, very successful coach in any professional sports or anywhere, they knew every single thing about their players.
That's right.
Inside and out, family life, everything about them. So me as a leader, am I being a good coach?
I was in the playoffs. I don't remember what coach it was, but I was listening to this article or this news report saying how one of the coaches was, before they even gets on a team, he studies everything about each player to know how they respond,
weaknesses, strengths, how they respond to this. So as a leader,
it's exhausting.
We need.
Is it not? Yeah. But it's the thing.
But that's the price that correct. That's the price that comes with being a leader.
Yeah. If you don't want to do it, then get off the pot, right?
Correct. So we have to know our people inside and out.
Yes.
If we don't, then can we really call ourselves leaders? So that's awesome. You do that. Actually, something I might have to steal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's not my first set.
Yeah,
it's like second. I got to get through some emails or like, don't talk to me. Let me do my thing.
I love that.
But then
so good.
Yeah, I've sent you a text, haven't I?
Yeah.
You have always
before.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah.
All right, you're on deck.
4 years ago or something like that. We text all the time. I'm kidding.
So one of the things that I really appreciate is that you and your wife are so intentional with your family, your family time. You've always been a coach. You've been into sports, but there are times you say no.
Yes.
Like, and for me, I have all these kids, and I think personally just wrestling with this is like there is this. There's only so much time that a family has, and that us as dads, as the parents, we are called to like raise up these kids, be super intentional. We need to like I don't want to say shelter, but almost like shelter. Like the world is coming at our kids so rapidly, fast.
For sure.
And we have to be like, I don't want culture to drive what their values are, I want the Centers family.
Yeah.
I want the Malone family to drive what our kids are be about. So you are so good at that, and you're able to say no to certain things, yes to certain things. How did you guys like get to that place?
Yeah, it took time. If I'm being honest, I'll say the bad side and the good side of it, right? So as a couple, as you know, when you're married, it's two different brains, two different outlooks on how things should go or not go. So it took a lot of time for me and her to get on the same page. And when it comes to our kids, obviously I always love to use scripture. Lead your kids in the way they should go. That way when they're old, they won't depart from it, right? So that's something that we live by. And that's why we say no to things a lot. I always say you have to say no to grow. Like you have to sometimes.
Oh.
You have to.
Have to say no to grow.
If you say
That's
yes,
good.
if you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So there's probably something important that you said no to because you're saying yes to this thing. So we live by that. We will say no to things.
Yeah.
Sometimes. As you hear, no, I'm gonna go for 4th of July. I'm gonna do it. But we do say no to things because we do want to protect that time with us as a family. Like we think that's important.
Just Sarah and I were just literally having this conversation yesterday. Is it feels like we have 3 things that are taking up all of our family time and that we're called to do. We have a finite amount of time as a family. So number 1 is the school day. Okay, that takes up the education, all that. Then the values of like extracurriculars and sports. And as you get older, the time and the competition and everything gets more and more, and you're traveling.
For sure.
But then there is that time as a family that is you're called to create this family team or this like family on mission. This where we're all kind of like creating our values and what our family is about. And for so long, I think I have expected my family mission and values to happen through osmosis, meaning just in passing along the way.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think that's possible.
No, correct.
It has to be super intentional.
Yeah.
And the time has to be carved out.
Yes.
And if they're giving all their time to school and then they get nothing from home, or then they're running ragged from here to here. So Sarah and I are I wouldn't call it it's a deep reflection right now of like,
no, for sure.
What in the world do we do? Because you guys are like, what do I do?
No, yeah.
Pastor?
Yeah. I love it. So there's a very a leader at our church, very influential to me. I'm not going to use his name, but he's just a big part of my growth as a pastor. He always talks about protecting your 4 walls.
Okay.
And what he means by that is protecting your kids from things that may not bring value to them down the road, right? Yes, sports are great. I love sports. You know this. I love sports. And I love extracurricular activities. School, we know is important, all these things. But the home life is, I would say, probably even more important, which is why we time block. I love how you said that. Like if you don't plan it, it's not going to happen. I'm very intentional on my calendar. My wife knows this. Babe, I love you. I know you're going to have a comment. But my calendar is what I live by. So if it's not on the calendar, I don't do it. And I put everything on there. I mean, it can be, hey, I'm putting the kids to bed or whatever it may be. So on the calendar.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's easy for me to say like, I know I said that, but we're going to get past that. So I think being intentional is huge because your kids get to see what's very important in your life too. For sure. Right? So Bruce Lee said it. I can't remember how the quote went. That's what he said. I don't want to buy my kids everything I was never bought. I want to teach my kids all the things I was never taught. And that can go from a certain lesson or just time. Yeah. Because time is the one thing in life you can never get back.
That's right.
So if you're intentional with your kids with time, they get to see their value.
Totally.
And as they grow older, they will get to see where their time should be going. What was valuable to mom and dad that I should be doing the same thing.
Man, when Sarah and I were so young in like young parents, I was working 2-3 jobs and I was in the jobs where it was just all day. Yeah. So the moment I get home, I'm on my laptop trying to catch up on work. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, baby.
Yeah.
And maybe I was present, but I wasn't.
No,
present.
correct. Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
And it's like the kids get nothing. They don't get the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And they watch it. And now I got all these teenagers.
Yeah.
And I got a teenage son who's 14. He's just like waiting for me to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
up.
yeah.
He's like, are we gonna go play soccer? What are we gonna go do?
Yeah.
Can I tell you about my day? And he's just waiting. And even like we do tech-free Sundays or we do.
I love that. We do the same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, they hate it, but now I
It's
think
okay. I bet you they appreciate it more than you think.
Yes.
They don't verbalize it, but they do.
Well, on Sundays we do we'll do a family breakfast and we'll do like a little devotion, like a verse and like one of our family core values. And it's cheesy, but
It's okay.
I love cheesy.
Yeah.
And the kids,
They'll never forget it.
I thought
Don't do it 1 week. I bet you they'll bring it up. Hey,
that's exactly what happened.
when are we gonna do it?
Wait, we're not doing our core value.
Yeah, that's how you know it's sticking. If you
we
don't
are.
do it, they're like, wait a minute, we're not doing that dumb thing that we always do. Like, oh, so you do like it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think
So you
that's
got to.
great.
So you're saying we have to protect the four walls. Yeah, I feel like the culture and world is coming at our kids.
It is.
in speeds that has been like we've never seen before. You and I both are like I was on I think from I guess the speed. I guess we could talk about like the technology and the YouTube that they're watching and
So
their
different
friends.
now. So different.
Oh, and
I have that growing up.
yeah, exactly.
So different. Yeah.
And then kids at school maybe don't have the similar values and kind of expectations that you would have.
Yeah.
And that's
changes
things.
It does. So I think I told you this actually this weekend. So we're well, you know that we're homeschooling. It's been going really good. We call this a testing year though. It's first year doing it. When you go to the homeschool conventions, they talk about all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we're in that testing year of we're doing it, but we just set the expectations a little low. That way, if things don't go according to plan, it's all right. It's testing year. But things are going amazing.
Okay.
My wife is really doing a great job. I always say you are the best teacher in the world. You know, but that was a struggle though, if I'm being honest, because she wanted to homeschool. I did not. Because remember, I was a public school teacher.
Sure.
I strongly believe in like education, going to the school, like putting your kids in it. You know, I don't want to shelter my kids from everything.
Sure.
I want them to be able to experience it for themselves. But that was something we had to struggle with. And we read a book. This was another great leader at our church gave us a book called No Perfect Parent. Changed our lives on just how we view our kids. I think it's Dave and Ann Wilson, I think is who wrote it. But there's 4 phases. So you have the discipline stage, which is 1 to 5, right? So you're disciplining, teaching them. And then you have the let me make sure I get them right. Discipline, coaching, training phase. There you go. Training phase. So training phase 5 to 12, which is usually school age, right?
Yeah.
So from kindergarten to usually junior high.
Okay.
And we have plans, I told you this, to send our kid to high school. And the reason why we're doing that is because that phase, 12 to 18, is the coaching phase. And then 18 and older is the friendship stage.
Okay.
So our kids right now are in the training stage.
Yeah.
So we are very intentional about, okay, if we want to train our kids in the way they should go, I think at least for us, once again, I'm just speaking for us as a family, the one thing we thought about, if this is that perfect stage, why would we send them out to be trained?
Yeah.
When
I want to mess them up. I don't want you to mess them up. Let me mess them up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. So
at least I want to mess them up with our values and what we want to be about.
Exactly. So, and that's something that I heard a quote about homeschooling. It was so good. I don't remember who said it that day, but they said, you can't send your kids to Caesar and expect them not to come back as Romans. I was like, ooh, that was powerful. Very, very powerful. So if I want to be the Caesar, I want them to come back as the Romans I want them to be, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we homeschool. It's been going amazing. It's not for everyone though. That's the thing. I'm not somebody that's just totally against.
So what is your role as a dad in all of that?
Just come home. I'm just kidding.
I'm sure it's great. I'm at work all day.
I have longer work hours because of homeschool. I'm just kidding. No, my role, especially when because I have 4 boys.
Yeah, you got to keep it structured.
My
discipline.
role is for one to encourage my wife.
Yeah.
Because it is tough days. You know, you stay home with kids. That's a hard day. And two, also my boys, like we do what we called man code. So teaching my boys how to be men, man. Like I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old, which doesn't seem old, but you don't have my 12-year-old. I got 6 years left, and he's going into the coaching phase. Like he's gone. So I make sure as the father to set that that standard of what they should be like at home, and then even outside the house. Like my son going into junior high, I'm going to have him with me more.
That's right.
Just to kind of show him what it looks like to be a man. Because it's not easy to be a man. We know
that's
that.
Right.
It's tough.
And you have to, be intentional with that. And then teaching boys that life is not all about you.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
You're there to serve.
Yeah. And I want to see him fail too, man.
Yeah.
Failure is great.
That's right.
I know we look at it in such a negative context, but failure is what helps you grow. So I want to see them do that a little bit too. Yeah. Which would be good. See how they react.
I have this wrestling because I really am like, we're at kind of this crossroads of like we have to decide how we're going to chunk out our time. And if these kids are our most valuable resource and the thing that God has placed in our life to steward and take care of, then they need to get the best.
For sure.
So, and I think they can have it at a school. We left public school to go to a private Christian school, and we love it. And but then now, even for my kids, I want them to learn entrepreneurial skills, social skills.
Correct.
And like for even this morning, when one of my boys is walking by, he needs to learn that you greet someone every morning.
Yes.
Hey, good morning. You don't just walk by.
Very true.
He maybe has been raised in foster care, but you have to learn. You have to learn these skills.
But they have to be taught that too, though, right?
Yes,
like you're saying.
And it doesn't just happen.
It doesn't just happen. That's why it's a training phase. You're training them what you want them to do.
And I need to train them up. Like I want my boys to teach them how to start a small business.
Correct.
And learn how to make money.
Yeah.
I was on a workshop with a bunch of dads who are starting to kind of think this way. And they have a 10-year-old daughter who has started a sneaker company where she flips sneakers.
Oh, I love it. I'm a sneakerhead.
You are.
I love sneakers. Very smart.
She bought and resold in her first year, made $100,000.
So smart.
So like
nothing wrong with. I love it.
Like learning that skill.
That's the new age too. If I gotta be honest, like that's the world we live in today. There's so many opportunities out there.
So we need to teach. And like you
gotta foster it a little bit though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like even now we're finally getting our eggs from our chickens. We're like, all right, you're going to go sell these eggs.
Yeah.
Like, how much does it cost? Now we're going to go resell them. But now, I mean,
but that teaches a lot more than we think though. Doing that kind of stuff.
Totally does.
Going door to door, talking to people. Cause now you gotta have personal skills.
Yep.
Gotta know how to speak to someone, look them in the eyes. Like those are all things that you don't see very often nowadays.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is very important for kids to learn.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
And you and I were involved in you were involved in a public school teacher. Your kids were in public school.
Yeah.
I actually served on a school board for years. And it was a great experience. But I think as time has went on, you notice that the culture maybe doesn't align with
for sure
what you want for your kid.
And that's the reality of me and my wife getting on the same page. Because I knew being in the public school system and teaching, there's amazing teachers there, but there's still curriculum they have to teach, unfortunately, right? It's part of their job. It's not that they have control over that. Right. Yes, they can teach in a different way, but there's a certain way they have to, or a certain curriculum they have to go by. So it's out of their control. And that's what we realize as a family of there may be amazing teachers that do it, but at a certain point, they only have so much control. It's the state, it's the government, it's beyond our eyes can see. So that's what I'm saying. As a family, you just have to figure out what's best for you. Yeah. Because I think all of them can be great, but just for us as a family personally, we thought homeschool was best for us.
And now you're in first year experiment.
Yeah.
First year, second year, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. No, I think this is our thing. We're not moving from it.
This is the thing. Like I always tell them, like, are we gonna get weird? Are we gonna get homeschool weird?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Our kids are so social.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
No.
Our kids are, that's the thing though. If you think about today's age, they're so social.
Yeah.
They're always talking to someone.
Yeah.
And we plan, like I said, to send them to high school.
Yeah.
That's our plan. We want to send them to high school, send them out into the world.
Okay.
But once again, we think by that age,
right?
Hopefully we would have did, at least as parents, let's go back on us now, right? Hopefully us as parents did a good job training them. That way when they go into that phase, it's more of just coaching. They're going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
But now we build that relationship where they can be truthful to us, be honest, and go out, and live life, man.
Right.
So,
and for us, we love the idea of having these opportunities to have some flexibility
correct.
with our kids.
Yes. Oh.
Like, I mean, you can learn
Huge.
so much of the time in school is just wasted.
Yeah.
In getting in line, waiting for a transition, when a kid could probably get the whole day's schoolwork done in 3 hours. Then I can have them focus on a project of learning, coming with me and
for sure
doing a business.
Yeah.
Or learning those skills.
Yeah, that's the one great thing. When we go out of town, we can, if my wife still wants to do school with them or create the curriculum to surround where we're going, if we're going to the ocean, do like a unit on that.
Yeah.
Works out great. So it's there's pros and cons to it, but that's definitely a pro. When you travel, you can kind of adjust. Hey, we're going to do school in California. That's going to be great.
That's right. We even my wife said, like, we have this ministry that we support in India, and we've always wanted to go there. And we're like, dude, let's go to India for a month. And I mean, it's a little crazy, right? But you could teach.
Correct. Do it anywhere.
You could teach that anywhere. And these kids are going to learn way more about culture and life, living it out there.
Yeah. Hands on, right?
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it. Yes. I believe in that too.
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
good. So, as we kind of wrap up for today, I was thinking, you as a husband, as a father, as a leader, the last thing I always ask all of our guests says, say when you die, what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. Obviously, for sure. Man of God. That is, like I said earlier, my biggest push to go into ministry was to be around other men. Me and my wife love sitting down with couples for marriage and talking. We've been married 15 years. We don't have all the answers, but we've been through a little bit. So definitely man of God, a loving father, right? I know that sounds so generic. Oh, loving father. But no, I really want my kids to say that my dad loved me. He gave me the time that he valued time, but he always gave it to me.
That's right.
And then the last one, that's a good one. I'm trying to think of friends. Obviously, they come and go, but I would hope people would say I'm a good leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because being a leader, like I said, is not easy, but it's a job I love.
Yeah.
I love to do it. Love to grow every day. So yeah, I would say those three things.
That's good.
Yeah. Pretty simple, but I'm a simple dude. So.
And sometimes the simplest things are the biggest things.
Yeah, because it has more meaning behind it, right?
I don't think it's actually simple. I think there's clarity.
Correct.
Clarity of the things.
Exactly what I want. Correct.
Because sometimes you want to do all the next things, but you know what?
Yeah.
Love God, love my wife, train up my kids really well,
Yep.
and be a good leader for our community.
That's it.
I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm sitting at my funeral and I'm surrounded by people that said, like, wow, you made a huge difference in my life.
That's what you want, right? Yeah. Correct.
I was at my office yesterday, and there's this guy who I met 10 years ago. He didn't speak any English at the time. He was in the neighborhood, went door to door just trying to say, like, how can we help serve you? Got to know his family. Long story short, his wife ended up cleaning our house cleaning. Yeah. He started a carpet cleaning business that, long story short, we helped get him going. And he'd been to his house a half dozen times. Sarah and I went to their wedding. We were the only English-speaking people at the whole wedding, I think.
Oh, wow.
Sarah comes in as a traditional Catholic wedding. She's wearing a tube top. And the Nana's like, no, and gives her a shawl. Because we're at a Catholic, a Spanish-speaking Catholic wedding. I'm like, baby, woman, you are so embarrassing.
That's amazing, though.
And his son now works for Ohana.
Cool.
His two girls are going off to college, and he just said he came to my office just hoping I would be there, and he said, I wanted to tell you that my daughter's going to college, and that the reason she's going to college is because of 10 years when I met you. I'm like, well, no, that's not no. Yeah. But to me, it was just the most humbling thing. Yeah. Because I sat in his living room and we traded services, because I said, sure, I'll help you start your carpet cleaning business, but you have to teach me Spanish.
Oh, I love it.
So he had his whiteboard and he was teaching me Spanish for months. didn't go far, but God.
Let's hear something. I want you to talk from here on out in Spanish. All right, that's what we're gonna do.
Well, God knew I was going to have some Spanish-speaking sons, so He took care of it.
No, that's an example of, and this is what we always try to preach, just in our faith of community, how valuable community is.
Yeah.
Because it can help you through life, hard times, good times. It's like this, right? Just good to have friends and people you can lean on, ask for advice. So that's amazing. That's good. So funny.
Well, man, you honestly are one of the biggest inspirations, always encouraging. Yeah. You have the dad advice that I always come to.
Appreciate it.
So keep leading in the charge and being my pastor and answering my calls when I'm a wreck. You know.
Well, I give this dude credit for, he's one of the guys that got me out to Levine. So I appreciate you pushing me, because there was times, I think you're coming. You're coming.
That's right.
You're coming. So
sometimes you just need someone to help push you and make it happen.
Yeah. So I appreciate you, man.
And this community is exploding.
It is.
And it's the most beautiful community I've ever seen.
So good, man.
Yeah.
So good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
God's not done. So got a lot of work to
going.
do. Just getting started, man.
All right. Well, next time you come out, you'll have to tell us more about that.
Heck yeah, I will. That'll be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Until next week, may you unleash your purpose so you can profit in your business, faith, and life.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.